Hello, and welcome to the We're Not Stumped podcast. I'm your host, Mike Bolland, and I'm a congenital amputee of the right hand. In this show, I will interview other amputees and allow them to tell you their incredible life stories. I'll also feature family members of amputees and others who support the amputee community, all in an effort to discuss the challenges and triumphs of those living with limb loss. So stick around and listen to inspirational stories and find out why we say, We're Not Stumped. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the We're Not Stumped podcast. I'm your host, Mike Bolland. And today, I kind of got a familiar face. She's been on the podcast before, and that's Jeanette Jones. Jeanette had some health issues when she was younger that led to an amputation. And we're going to get into that more today, but plus some updates with Jeanette Jones. But first of all, Jeanette, thank you so much for taking your time to be on the We're Not Stumped podcast.
You're welcome.
Well, we always start the podcast with a segment I call In Your Own Words. Of course, you've already done it once, but as a reminder, I do want to hear your story and let everyone else know your story because it's quite interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I had stage 3 osteosarcoma cancer. It's a bone and a lung cancer. And it typically hits children because it hits the long bones, especially when they have growth spurts. Mm-hmm. So it was just in the leg, and it came outside the bone and spread from my hip down to my knee and bone, soft tissue, and muscle. So it basically destroyed the leg.
Yeah.
And the doctors tried saving my leg by replacing my hip, femur, and knee, and it just didn't work.
So they did try to replace it. I don't remember that. Okay, that's very interesting. And how old were you when you went through all of this?
12. I was diagnosed with cancer 15 days after my 12th birthday.
Wow. How did your parents handle that?
Well, I'm hearing, over the last couple of years, I've heard some stories, how the reaction of it. I remember my mother made me stay home, my grandmother, my dad's mother.
Yeah.
And the doctor's office couldn't reach anybody at my house, so they called my grandmother's house. And they asked, well, where's your mother? I said, she's working. Can we have her number? I said, okay. Like, whatever you do, remain sitting and do not get up on your leg. Okay, I didn't understand why. And they called my mother. My mother had to call my father. When my father showed up, she was standing against the phone pole crying.
I can imagine. But that led to the amputation of your leg. Yeah. And you have a specific, your amputation has a specific term that I'm not familiar with. What is the term?
Disarticulation amputee.
And what does that mean?
They took my hip. I have a hip socket. There's no hip in it.
Got it.
And they're generally on the rare side, but mine is more rare because generally most people lose part of the hip socket or part of the pelvis or part of their butt, but I got to keep all of it.
Okay.
I just have a hip socket and nothing in it.
Got it. And that happened. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have a very small stump.
Got it. And I think that happened, if I remember correctly, you were 16 when that happened. So there was like a 4-year, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but there's about 4 years in between the cancer and the amputation. Is that right?
Yeah. My body was rejecting the metal bones. I had it done twice. I had the worst case bone fungal infection ever to be seen. And they haven't seen it since, and they say they never will see it again. And to this day, they don't even know what the damage is from that is or what will be.
What is it like going through? First of all, you're 12 years old and you have cancer, and you're probably, I guess, between 6th and 7th grade, I would imagine. And then, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was 5th grade.
5th grade. Okay.
I was a year behind in school.
Okay. So you're in 5th grade, you get diagnosed with cancer, and then you're having to go through a lot of treatment, I would imagine, and which led to the amputation. What was that like going to school as you did?
Hard, because I wanted to be there. I wanted to be a normal kid, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
And not knowing then but knowing it now as an adult, because I hear the stories how people were rooting for me, I didn't know. I was so isolated from being around anybody I went to school with, except for one person, my friend Trish. She eventually passed away.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
It's okay, thanks. I remember having to be tutored in being majority in the hospital, tutored, get my schoolwork brought to me and brought back so I could keep up with everything until I lost my leg.
Wow. What was that like, losing your leg and then returning to school? You eventually returned to school, is that correct?
3 weeks later.
Oh, that's pretty quick. How were you taken in at that point from your fellow classmates?
Everybody was great. I mean, I won't be acknowledged as the first person in my school district to lose a leg, first one.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, okay, let it go. But everybody was like, all right, let's see what happens. I lost 6 pints of blood during surgery. My doctor asked me before the day we decided it's got to come off.
Mm-hmm.
He asked me if I wanted to be an autogamous blood donor, not knowing what autogamous meant.
I'm not sure.
Asked, you donate blood to yourself.
Oh, got it. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Which initially saved my life because I got it during surgery.
Wow.
And losing all that blood didn't affect me to the next day. They thought I was going to actually die. My nurse, I just remember my nurse giving up all of her patients to take care of me.
Wow.
And I guess still remember her telling my father, go get my brother, just in case he has to say goodbye. He was about like going on 13. And the nurse, I remember hearing the nurse begging him, aggravate her, piss her off, get her blood pressure, get her heart rate going. And nothing was working. And then I could hear another nurse running down the hall and just seeing her arms out like this, carrying 6 bags of blood. And they let my brother, because he was such a little shorty at the time, getting up on the chair. The three of them with a bag of blood in each hand, squeezing. Then they heard me lift my bed up, sat up. I said, would you guys knock it off? I'm okay. my heart monitor beep, beep, beep.
Well, it's glad. It's awesome that you made it through, obviously.
Yeah. And
now, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask, I know that one of the things that we first connected on was the fact that you didn't wear a prosthetic. I don't know whether you tried or not, or it was just not enough stump left. Okay.
Years I've used a leg, and it's funny because people that didn't know me, that met me afterwards, that would see me use a leg, didn't even know that my left leg wasn't real.
Wow. Because
I used it so well. But because of my amputation, I don't have your typical socket.
Yeah.
I had to sit in a bucket, and it wraps around my waist, and I have to tie it up. And like the first initial socket, the first bucket, like any other socket, has to be a flexible one. But for me, when I got the second one is where I wasn't fond of it because the bucket kept my back completely straight. Oh. I had no flexibility in the torsos. By 1998, I stopped using it.
I was going to ask what year that was. So it's been quite a while. It's going with 26 years you have not been using it. So you ended up using, I don't want to say crutches, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, you got along great. I remember seeing some videos. You were quick with just your one leg and crutches. Is that right?
Yeah. The forearm crutches are, some call them Canadian crutches.
Oh, okay.
I mastered the art of learning how to run on one leg in those crutches. Some people say I looked like Lou Ferrigno when he did The Incredible Hulk.
I was going to say, I bet you that surprised a lot of people as you were running around quite a bit.
Yeah. It was fun.
You had just given me some news that you had recently that you're no longer able to walk. But it's not from the amputation, it's from some other things going on in your life. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I can walk around, I could do things. Um, at the end of the day, I used to be able, I had 5.5 miles under my belt. Do a 2 mile walk in my sleep. Generally, it should take you an hour to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Takes about 30 minutes to walk a mile. You know, to go out, do my 2 mile walk. Oh, let's go here. Let's go here. All right, I just walked 3.5 miles. Time to go home. Oh, I forgot this. And I'm back out another mile and a half later. And I come home. Let's see what I did. Well, I had a pacemaker put in,
Mm-hmm.
and some delayed delayed effects to the heart block it was in. And back in heart failure, they said no, they I can't be doing that,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't walk up hills now or any incline because I'm in heart failure. And it's funny because to walk just under a quarter of a mile, I come very close to passing out.
Wow.
It just, my heart does not like that at all anymore. And I was, I go in a gym, work out, lift weights.
Yeah.
I do fantastic. Just the other day, I was in there. My ankle's a little swollen today from the heart failure.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I stayed doing this today. And it's a completely different experience that I'm all right doing that. And that was initially supposed to kill me, lifting any weights. And it had the reverse effect on me. I don't, and I kind of say I'm a weirdo. I'm the weirdo that the opposite happens.
Well, would you consider seeing if there's, I mean, after 26 years, there might be some newer technologies for you to look at when it comes to prosthetics. Have you given that any consideration?
I tried. I would have to go to Long Island
Oh, and
to,
you're in Pennsylvania, if I'm not mistaken?
yes,
Okay.
it would be about 2.5 to 2 hours and 45 minutes to travel. I have to take off the weight now. Okay, fine. And I'm in the process of getting a quickie sporting chair.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I actually got one. Turns out there was a hiccup with the frame, 3 inches too narrow. So I should be getting the new one in a couple weeks.
I volunteer for Arizona Disabled Sports out here, and I hear that chair quite a bit, and I hear nothing but good things. Have you ever used one before? Or is this going to be your first time?
The day I got the one that with the frame I went across town with it.
Mm.
Came down my hill. I never had such speed before in my life, and I loved it.
That's
And
nice.
the way I came down, I think I hit about 45 miles an hour going down the hill.
Wow. As you look back, because I mean, you've been an amputee for I don't know how many years. I'm not going to ask, but
31.
31, and obviously you were in high school. When you look back in your journey, what are things you may want to pass along to others that are maybe starting their own journey right now that you think would help other people?
Keep punching those brick walls. I'm doing it, punching some big brick walls, trying to knock them down. I'm in a very small town that's very old, and a lot of people don't want it to change.
Yeah.
And now rearranging my life, and I talk about it. People are not liking it. No, oh my God, no, you can't. You got one leg, and I got one leg. You have gray hair. So what? You have blue eyes. Who cares? Go ahead.
I would say just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
I think that's
It's
excellent advice.
the more I hear that, the more I want to keep punching the walls.
That's an excellent expression. Keep punching the walls. Sounds like a quote from Rocky, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, because what's funny is I feel like I'm on the bottom of that mountain he had to climb in Rocky 4.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of been knocked down a little. And it's okay because I've been knocked down before.
And it hasn't kept you down though.
Mm-mm.
So that's
That,
important for all amputees, you feel, is keep pushing forward.
yeah. I mean, I kind of feel like I'm at the beginning when I first lost my leg. I have to find out what's going to work for me now. Going in the gym's working. If I could I know it's not feasibly possible to do it 7 days a week, every single day for the rest of your life. You need a break. If I could, I would, but I can't.
So you're kind of starting a newer journey right now, huh?
Yeah.
Keep us posted on that. And one thing I want to say, how we met. I want to, people don't know how we met. You had gotten onto the website. I think it was something, one of the episodes sparked you to go, I'm going to go check out his website. And you reached out to me and I called you the next day. So, I'm grateful that you did that. I am very grateful because we struck up a friendship now. And we text and call each other from time to time. We stay within each other's lives. And I really appreciate that. But what I want to pass along to everyone that's listening, because I do say that, on some of the episodes, hey, just contact me. I'd love to hear from you. You want to be a guest? I'd love to have you on. But contact me either way. If you don't want to be a guest, I get it. Sometimes telling a personal story is very difficult. But when I say that I'll call you back, Miss Jones here is proof positive that I will get a hold of you. And I thought it was funny because you didn't even know it was me when I was calling, right?
Yeah. I didn't expect you to call me the next day. I'll never forget it because I was still on my downtime out there having the pacemaker put in. And I'm like, I'm looking at the phone and I almost didn't answer it because it said something
Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah.
I'm like, spam call.
Yes.
I'm like,
Yes.
you know what? I need a good laugh right now. And I answer, I'm like, hello.
I know it was funny. I go, hey, this is Mike from the We're Not Stumped podcast. How are you? You're like, oh
Like,
my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah. Because at first I said, wait a minute, whatever you're selling, I don't want to hear it. I don't have a car, so don't try to sell me car insurance. You're like, wait a minute, no, hold on, let me start this over. I was like, oh my god, I'm so embarrassed.
Oh, no reason to be embarrassed. I mean, I just called, out of the blue. And to your point, I'm the same way. I get a call. I'm not generally answering it because who knows who's on the other end if it doesn't say who it is. And you would probably know my name anyway. So, but I will call if someone reaches out. So what's next for you as you look forward? I know you're starting like a newer journey, but I'm sure there's still things in life that you're looking forward to. And what are those things?
I'm looking forward to see how far I can go with this. Being in the gym, working out, I have to look for a trainer, but
Yeah.
they cost so much money.
Yeah.
And I started out with a Planet Fitness 6.5 years ago, and you were able to work out with the trainers there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, most don't have them,
Mm.
some do. I'm traveling about 30 to 40 minutes away because this one has a trainer. The one that's a little closer to me will never get one. So, the way they're doing it now, you can't work one on one with them. You can take their classes. But
Got
I
it.
remember everything I did with Jason, and I lost a lot of weight. I remember gaining a lot of muscle. And most people don't know this. A lot of bodybuilders are going into Planet Fitnesses. And that always intrigued me
Hmm.
because you really don't see somebody with one leg doing it
Yeah.
and or losing or one arm.
Yeah. Whatever it is.
Yeah. And I'm one of those people. Well, if you don't see that, I'll make sure I'm going to be the first one you see doing it. And I want to, if I could do it, why can't you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what's pushing me in that direction, I have a neighbor. She lost her leg.
Oh,
She
wow.
lost below the knee, and she refuses to get out of the wheelchair.
Hmm.
She refuses to do anything for herself. And I do feel a little sorry for her, but she finally admitted it after almost 2 years living next door to her. I can't deal with it. I don't even want to look down at it. I can't handle it. She got so severely addicted to the painkillers, and her family got sick of her, won't help her because she won't help herself. And, I feel bad for her, but there's only so much you can do for her.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do. That's like the tale of two lives. I look at you as someone who was getting around on the Canadian crutches. Is that what you called them?
Yeah, Canadian or forearm.
Forearm, running around with one leg, and someone else, they're entitled to their own journey, obviously, but it would be better if they went on your journey as someone who is not going to stop, keeps punching, or, like you were saying, keep punching the wall. Is that what you said? Is that your expression?
You're punching the brick walls, yeah.
Breaking the brick walls, because that's the way to do it. How important do you feel? And I think it's something I'm going to ask from the perspective of an amputee, but I'm going to say I think this is something good for everyone. But working out and having that part of your life, it seems like it's been a big part of your life. How important do you feel that is to someone as an amputee?
I think it is very important because I just recently, when making the decision going far away to Madam Morris, I actually met somebody that is above the knee amputee, and he's pretty cool. He came right up to me, started talking to me. I'm like, "Oh, hey, how are you?"
That's great.
And he was pretty cool. And his foot is different. It's like, you ever see the quad tips on a cane?
Yes. Yes.
It's something similar to what the foot he has. And it's
interesting.
Yeah. So I never really seen one in person. I seen them on like online videos, but never in person. I thought that was cool.
You feel like knowing someone else in the limb loss community, do you feel that's important too for others?
Yeah, because look at my neighbor.
Yeah.
Thinking that, when she first met, I met her the first time I met her 6 months before moving in. You would think it would encourage her to get up and do something. She just, but I think it's, if you get somebody right in the beginning or somewhere from the beginning or in the middle of the beginning of it, it does something.
Yeah. It would help out quite a bit earlier.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's so important that people like you come onto the podcast and share your story, because it does tell others that, as we like to say, I know we said it before, there is another side to it, right? There is another side. Depression it's going to happen. Listen, it happens to everyone. That's the reality of life, and we're still all human. But there is another side to where you can be happy, and I'll share this with everyone out there, since people I've already established that we know each other now from your calling, and we just talk. You're one of the happiest people I know. I mean, you're always fun to talk to, and it's a joy. I mean, it means a lot to me that I get to know the people that have been on the podcast, and you're right up there as one of the number one people that I got to know and share stories. And Eric Gabriel's another one that I know that if he's listening, Jeanette and I know him pretty well. I know he's going through some things right now. Hopefully he'll be back soon. But it just means a lot. It means a lot for me for you to take the time to be on the podcast. So I thank you so much for being on today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
That was the We're Not Stumped podcast, hosted by Mike Bolland. If you want to be a guest on the program, reach out to Mike at his email address, mike@mikebolland.com. This podcast is produced by One Hand Man Productions. If you are looking to start your podcast, go to onehandmanproductions.com.